This is Audiobook Caboodle YouTube channel. Click on the subscribe button and listen unlimited audiobooks anytime, anywhere.
Part 1 of A Lost God by Francis William Bourdillon. In the reign of Tiberius, an extraordinary thing happened to some mariners in the Ionian Sea. They were cruising at daybreak among the islands of the Echinides, at the mouth of the river Echelus, which falls into the Corinthian Gulf. As the sun rose and touched with his first light the waves of the archipelago and the myrtle hillocks of the little islands, they heard a marvelous voice, like softened thunder, pass over them, and die away to the mainland among the Aetolian mountains. "Pan is dead," it said, and then a sighing wind followed the voice, and the frightened sailors hastened ashore to narrate what they had heard. Tradition, which has given us the strange tale, explains it by averring that on that morning Christ began his teaching. Part 1. The Vision. There lies an island in the Ionian Sea, an emerald set in sapphire. But the gem is rimmed with iron. Rock are cliff and scaur, rocky the inlets and the promontories, and sown with sunken rocks are all the bays. It is a sea of islands and of rocks, the haunt of sunning seabirds, fastnesses impregnable to any wingless foot. A sea so thickly set with point and peak, that to the eyes down-looking, could we mount where sails yon lonely sea-hawk, it might seem a robe of rippling blue, which flying nymph or naiad spying satyr 'neath the hedge had caught and left there, pierced with all the thorns. It is a sea of white wings and white sails, of soft wings swooping near, and snowy sails that hang far off upon the hazy blue. For on the horizon eastward, like a cloud, the mainland lies, the purple hills of Greece. And yonder is the entrance to the Gulf of Corinth, whence or whither seek the sails. See, but one sail is nearing. Is it sail or sea-bird, snowy gleaming in the sun? Too slow for bird, yet nigh too swift for sail, save happy hearts are there, and such blithe winds as blow for youth and pleasure. Now 'tis clear, the huge heaven-pointing pinion like a cloud, and the black prow beneath that dips and springs, danced round with rainbows in the leaping spray. Now large and larger looms the bellying sail close under the sheer cliff. Then suddenly shifted to round the headland shows the bark, careening as she feels the helmsman's hand, gay fluttering garments, faces young and fair. Then like a scenic curtain, right before the flowery fringes of the cliff-top rise, and vanishes the vision. Sea and sky are lonely, and the light wind in the grass sighs to be back in that soft-bosomed sail, or fanning that fair company. But hush! What are those footsteps? Who are that bright pair who mount the daisied ramparts of this dell? Lovers they should be by the harmony of their lithe bodies, swaying as in time to unseen music, lovers by their hands enlacing, lovers by their silent lips and eyes more eloquent. And who but lovers had left that laughing crew, and sought alone this solitary dimple of the down?
Oh, dearest, I am glad to be here alone with nature's silence, and with your soft eyes. I have such tidings that I could not tell to any ears but yours, and scarce to yours. But that I know how beats your heart with mine. My wound you will not scorch with jest, or numb with silent incredulity more cruel, nor say my dreams have followed me from sleep into broad daylight, as a madman's do.
Ah, heart of my own heart, have I not borne, already, though unknown, your grief, my tears, scarce stayed from flowing as I marked all day, in what unfathomable gulfs of gloom, below the rippling mirth that buoyed the rest, your spirit wandered lonely, till at last, their laughing lips, twixt jest and sympathy, whispered, "A wolf has seen Leander first." What secret weight is this that bows you so? Tell me that I may share its burden. Would that I could take the whole and leave you none. Yet trouble shared, unlike the manual load, which two that lift take half and half exact, oft lightens in the telling, and the two bear but the tithe of what the one had borne.
Listen, sweet siren, have you ever dreamed a dream so hideous as that God can die?
Nay, the immortal said no dreams like that.
Yet have I dreamed it, if it were a dream, and not some dreadful drama played in heaven to waken terrors and win tears of gods.
Nay, the immortals act no plays like that.
Nay, neither dream nor drama do I think it, unless I dream now or you act your love. I saw, I heard, as now I see and hear, immortal gods, a most reposeful faith, grown in our core from childhood. Yet we see grey earth herself, called mother of the gods, grow older, and the stars grow dim and die. And godlike heroes and great emperors, are they not mortal? All that lives must die. How, if the gods live, must the gods not die?
Nay, but what saw you, heard you, which is lost, of those bright presences who fill with light the heaven they live in, and the earth and sea, with life and love and loveliness? Ah, nay, it cannot be. Earth could not spare one God, the least of all, who only leaves the ground greener for his light footfall, or the wind more music-laden for his murmuring wings. Earth could not spare one God, if heaven could spare.
Listen, and I will tell you. Nay, not thus. Lay your soft hand in mine, but gaze not so with those love-kindling eyes, lest their soft fires fuse the sharp outlines of my memory. 2 nights ago I sailed at set of sun out to the westward where the glory led, and when it sank and darkness fell, I found the wide blank sea that mirrored all the stars. Spread round me as a blind man feels the night, so to one star I steered, that hangs in May at midnight over the heights of our dear hills. So steadfast I have deemed it was your love, my guiding star, that is itself the heaven to which it leads me, and it led me then. But dreaming lay the winds that drowsy night, the sails flapped idly, and the very stars moved overhead scarce slower than I sailed. So, half content, half vexed to be so stayed, I laid me down beneath the unnumbered eyes, and gazed and dreamed, and the gods sent me dreams. Dreams not of sleep, but of waking. Temples rose out of the darkness, brightening as the bow upon the rain-cloud. Unlaborious fanes, unbuilded fabrics, such as architects in vision see and imitate in vain. With earth stuff, ponderous marble, garish paint, each lucent temple held a god within, that made its light and glory as the flame gleams glorious through the glasses of the lamp. The endless genealogies of heaven were there, the eldest born of gods, whose years are countless and eternal as the stars. Zeus, regent now, seemed youngest in the ranks, next Grandsire Saturn, and behind, unnamed, forgot of men or never known of men, long dynasties of hoard divinities, crowned and discrowned by ancient wars in heaven. Or ever men were made or knew the gods, and behind all a glory that the eyes could not behold, that swallowed all the rest, the gods, the temples, the familiar stars, which still shone faintly through the veil of light. But one amid the gods I found not, one that most I sought amid the temple's mist, the human god who loves the world of men, and still to human eyes reveals himself, though rarely, as in happier ages past, our poets tell us all the gods were wont, who now regard not men. Him as I sought, wondering with waxing trouble, suddenly there was a stir as when a wind begins in a still woodland. From the temples all arose a wailing, and the white-robed gods came forth innumerable in multitude. Right in the midst was borne a white-dressed bier, and all behind and all in front the gods moved in procession, and no music's note was needed for their very moving made, and their melodious tread a funeral march, fuller than trumpets. To the pyre they came, built high from heaven to heaven above the stars, for every god had laid a bow thereon, cypress or cedar or rich eastern woods, Syrian ling-aloe, sandalwood from Ind. Deep in the dust of spices on the top was laid the bier, and the flames leapt to it, and as they licked the mantle from the dead, the face I saw, and knew the face of Pan. Mute, motionless, I lay in awe and love, and sorrow for the god whom I had held, earth's one link left with heaven, and in my soul despair rose sudden despot to usurp the sovereignty of reason. When I looked, the pyre was all consumed, and from its heart the sacred ashes gathered, and again the slow procession moved. Again arose the noise of mourning. All the vast array took up one dirge, as though the rolling waves all round the world took voice articulate, and sang in softened thunder, Pan is dead. They chanted this one burden, Pan is dead. But the miraculous virtue in the voice of gods made these self-words so eloquent that like a lovely picture in the mind rose memories of woodland, hill, and stream, once brightened by his presence, now forlorn, visions of ferny clefts untenanted, and weeping water nymphs by broken urns. Slowly the pageant passed, like morning clouds, moving to eastward. Fainter grew the voice, like distant murmuring thunder, and I looked, and found the day was risen upon the sea. The fresh breeze quickened from the south, the sail filled, and with all the Nereids at her prow, my vessel flew with rippling laughter home. But not the laugh of those invisible bands, nor the wind's freshness, nor the dancing spray, nor all the brightness of the springing morn could lift the cloud of sorrow from my heart. As in a dream I landed, heard the cries of sailors and of fishers on the quay, new come to haven from their nightly toil. As in a dream I passed them, bearing still that vision in my soul, so that the crowds, the busy streets, the solemn temples seemed no worthier notice than the nests of ants upon a hillside whose fair height is snow. Even to this hour I walk as in a dream. Earth, sea, and sky wear unfamiliar looks. I move like a child actor at a mask. He understands not, purposeless my path, as theirs who in mid-journey meet the news, he whom ye seek is dead.
Oh, I have heard, amazed, seeing that vision through your eyes, and hearing through your ears the awful voice. Yet, oh, Leander, think you that the gods, were this no acting but reality, would thus reveal to man that they could die? So dark a secret should be deeply sealed, and all the clouds that wander through wide heaven close thickly round to cloak from mortal eyes rites so significant to mortal kind.
Ay, were it one of the great gods who died, but Pan was ever human, ever dwelt among us, with us, of us, God with man, as man with man, to death expectant eyes, revealing in the rainbow and the flower that mortal tenements might entertain immortal tenants' love and loveliness.
How think you, then? Did Pan love men so well, that he put off his immortality to dwell among them? What dread power is that, inexorable, dealing thus the lots of mortal and immortal? Is there God above the gods? Could he not break his laws, being his own and spare one kind God, albeit transgressing?
Nay, we know him not. If there be God above the gods we know, it well might be, else wherefore was the earth, and for whose sake created? Not for men, who vex it for its vulgar gold, and call mountain and moor, where nature shows herself most lovely, waste and wilderness. And yet, if earth be the gods' pleasance, if for them sleep on the hills the sunlight, on the woods like an azure veil the evening air, why leave they their fair garden to be fouled by men whose life and death they hold as naught? It well might be there is some higher God above the gods we know. Have you not felt a presence in the woods on April eves, a sudden sanctity in the earth, and thence an upward panting of the soul, a gasp of the most inward self to some unknown, unutterable joy, to which the life uplifts itself, searching the empty air, like the lean caterpillar? Long, I thought, such ecstasies the effluence of Pan, and sought him breathless down the branching glades. He was not there. Surely had he been there, to eyes so faithful and so fond as mine, some glimpse had been vouchsafed. At last I came to think some higher than he must visit us, invisible the earth, and in my heart the long-grown hunger for the sight of God grew more insistent, not indeed the thought to view that blessed one, whom so to feel transcended vision, but my boyhood's hope, grown to a manhood's purpose to see Pan. Ah, happy who have seen him whom the world calls a madman. These alone are poets, not the apt mellifluous metrist, nor the deft industrious rhymer. Needs the fire of heaven, the earthquake, the long, lonely hour with God, before our flower-edged lyric rivulets flood o'er with the impetuous dithyramb. Ah, sorrow, sorrow, how doth harlot fate, granting our prayers, fill not our desire? Pan I have seen, a darker secret learned, than seers who have wandered to the nether world, and lo, where I had looked for light, 'tis night, and where for hope, despair.
What, hath not love light of his own, and hath not poesy rich consolation? Were it no high aim to win men's sensual souls by charmed song, to love the empyrean, the august, the golden, have you forgot your song of love? The maidens sing it, and the adulterer falters in his dark purpose as he hears. Oh, sing such songs again.
Lure me not thus, thou sweeter voiced than siren, lest I make shipwreck upon some shallow vanity. My song and service may no more be love's. He is no poet who in woodland paths, where first he learned sweet utterance, lingers ever, repeating ever his one woodland note. Forward the path leads, let him follow, up the steepest, down the deepest, till the end. What is it makes a poet's utterance strong, except the striving to make wings of words, and mount from apprehended thought to thought, unapprehended? And what impulse moves to such ill-guerdoned labour but the sense of things insensuous, the glint of rays, nebulous, indistinguished, which the eyes must gaze and gaze at till they fix the star, visions of water in the vacant sand, Elysian islands in the waste of sea? Such have I seen, such phantasms all my life have followed, knowing somewhere they must lie, discoverable, in our eyes unreal, yet real somewhere. Such high thoughts have been, bound ever with the holy name of Pan. And how, if he be dead, shall they not die, or prove as baseless as the worlds believe? Yet have I drunk sweet comfort from your lips, part from the lofty name of poet yet thrills me, yet rather from a lightning flash of woman's insight in your words, did Pan put off his immortality. Even so, surely immortals never were so kind to mortals, never heart could sympathize so well with human hearts that did not share the shadow of their death on daily life. This was his crime, that with Prometheus once, that he loved men, and this his punishment, to die like men.
Then wherefore should the gods lament him who had fallen from God's estate?
O death will reconcile the deadliest foes, if but they once have loved, and God to God is haply closer tie than man to man, and pity for a god may move the hearts of gods, though they be pitiless to men. Sweet prophetess, thou hast declared my dream. Not all the gods must die, but only he who chose companionship with toiling man, rather than heaven's serene in human bliss. And here is comfort, that the God I served was worthiest of service. Even in death he sent this vision, that his worshipper should not prolong vain service to the dead. Alas, what other service left to seek?
Love's, for love dies not. Is not love enough?
For the heart enough, but not for the whole man.
Do you not love me, then, with all you are?
I love with heart and soul, and with my whole self. But who by love lives only starves his soul, till the man grows unreasoning as the dog, who loves till death, but scarce knows what or why. Know you so little nature?
Nay, I know. My nature grows complete in loving thee.
Then is your life but mistletoe upon the boughs of love. More noble is the vine, aye, and clings closelier, that it has a life beside the tree's life.
Yes, that is man's love, and mistletoe is woman's. But our love is deeper than all words and parables. I do confess me wilful, womanlike, jealous one moment. Love is not enough, I know it, for the needs of noble souls.
Singing.
Ever to some horizon he must strain, that ever vanishes, yet is not vain, seeking the perilous palm that none attain. Love may attend him like the gentle air, that cools the athlete's brow, but let him care. For the end only, love shall greet him there.
Now are you hope's own choister, sweet love, and in your voice she visits me again. Said I, what other service left to seek? There is no other. I will seek the old. What if I follow to the furthest east, that wondrous funeral? I shall find at times some footprint of a god, or fillet torn, or fallen flower, or in some glen remote, a brighter, holier, more divine delight. On lawns and copses, where they stayed a while, to rest if gods need rest, or to lament, such traces I shall find to lead me on. Though, like the patient hunter, oft at fault, I roam the world as he the woodland through, till either I shall find on some far shore, untrodden save of gods, a mountain tomb, worthy a god, or in some further clime, the lands Eltian, where the dead abide, living in all things save the light of heaven, and gladness of God's presence. Haply Pan has lightened somewhat there the sombre souls, and cheered the thin wan shadows, as he wont, to cheer the souls that walked in shadow here.
Ah, will you leave me?
Love, I must. Madness it may be so to trust a dream, yet if I trust it not, I must go mad. Fear not, sweet love. Say I set out for gain, venturing a year-long voyage to win gold, you would not seek to stay me. Stay me not. Now, when I seek more precious gain than gold, knowledge and heart contentment, fear not, love. For if I find, I shall return to you, and if I find not, whither shall I turn, save to your love for comfort? Let him care for the end only. Love shall greet him there.
Thus as they talked, their names were called below, and with one long embrace they turned to go. The soft wind sighed to miss them from the grass. The branches stirred to stay them as they pass. Now they are lost, and now once more the sail sweeps round the headland, leaving a long trail. The west behind them reddens, and their wake is rosy in the rushing water break. Fainter the white sail grows, the tall black mast o'ertops no more the mountains, all is past. The wind sleeps, and the sea, and over all, in silence deep, is drawn night's gleaming pall. End of Part 1.
This was Audiobook Caboodle YouTube channel presentation. We hope you enjoyed listening. For full audiobook, check out our playlist section. Links in description below.